Hello, welcome to episode 66 in the Datapack tutorial series, version 1.21. We're going to be doing a reusable chat keypad. This came from an idea or a comment on episode 257 of the Command Box series by Liam's World. So can we reuse this keypad? Because it was a bit hard-coded. So we've got two keypads here. Here's one. This one is for the front door. Front door code is 8473. And it says success. And we've got one for the back door. The backdoor code is different. 4-5, and it says great success. So it's got a different name, it's got a different code, a different length code, and a different command on the output. And we're basically running that from some storage where we have here. So here's the front door with its code. What command will we run when it's successful? And how far away can they use it? Because I don't want them to be able to, basically, I don't want them to be able to press the keypad and then run away. So, I can't reach that keypad, too far away. Now I can reach it. There we go. Okay, so that is what we're doing. We're setting up a few keypads with some data storage, and then we are calling the function, and we're passing the index or the ID of the keypad, and we're saving the XYZ of where the command is running for the distance check and to play sounds. Anyway, it's going to be a longish one, so I'll stop waffling. Let's get on and build it now. Okay, let's start in VS Code, and we'll start with what we normally do, folders and files. So inside my namespace, inside function, I'm going to create a new folder to put all my functions. I'm going to call the folder keypad, and in there I'm going to have some admin commands, or admin functions. I have another folder as well, which we'll call entry. This will be all the functions for them typing in their codes. That'll do. Okay, inside admin, I'll have a data setup. I think you can guess what that's going to be doing. It's going to be setting up our data. Inside entry, you have a new file. I'm just going to call it 0. That's if they press the 0 button. And I'm going to have 1 to 9. But all those functions are going to be so similar that I'm just going to cut and paste or copy and paste them later. But I'm also going to have a minus, because there will be a minus key on the keypad. You can use it if you want or not, up to you. But we will need a reset as well. I'll call it reset. Okay. And then in keypad, I want to be able to check the code, so we'll have a check code function. Also in keypad, I want a keypad display initialize, and in keypad again, I want a keypad display. I want to check the player's distance as well. I don't want them to bring up the keypad and then run 1,000 blocks away and still be able to use it. So I'm going to have a function for that, which we'll call player distance check. I think that's it, and we'll need the load, which we've already got. Okay. Let's start with data setup. I am going to, well, I suppose this is where we want all the keypads to be, all the different data for the keypads. So let's do, maybe we should clear it first. Data, remove from storage, ID data, keypads. Now it's all blank now. And then we'll do data, modify, storage, ID data, keypads, set value, and we'll have 1 keypad, 2 keypads. Now these commands are going to get a little bit longer, so I think I'm going to split this up. In fact, actually I'll type it long and then we'll split it up. That's what we'll do. We'll do it that way around. So keypad is going to have an ID or sort of a name. ID, we'll call this one front door. We're going to have a code. Keypad for the front door can be 8473, and then we'll have a command on success. So if they type in the right code, this is the command that's going to run. We'll fill that in a minute. We're also going to have a use range. Use range. How far away can they be from the keypad to still use it? I'll set that to 3. Command on success. I'm just going to do a tell raw. Tell raw at S. Open and close. Now we're going to have a problem here because you'll see that the command has speech marks around it. That means it's not going to like me using speech marks inside it, but I need to use speech marks. So we'll use them and then we'll sort it out. Okay, I'm going to have a text and we'll just say success for the front door, and I'm going to give it a color, and I'll just say it's going to be green. Okay, let's all the ones that are part of the command. So not this front one, that's not part of my command. So I want any that are contained in the highlighted text there. So we've got one at the end. We don't escape that one, and we don't escape the front one. All the others will need to be escaped, and we'll do that just by putting a backslash in front of them. Control copy. Let's do you, and you, and you, and you, and the last one. There we go. We'll save that. Now I'm going to copy that code or that data, and we'll make a new keypad, and we'll call this one backdoor. I'm going to give it a different code. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will do, and instead of saying success, we'll say great success. Okay, now that's fine. I want to make it a little bit more readable, so I'm going to split it here. It's not going to be happy that I've done that, and I'm going to split it for the next one as well here, and I'm going to split it there. So we have each entry on its own line. Now it does not like you doing that, so we will have to undo that. I don't know what happened then. I'm terribly sorry. Okay, so we split it onto each line. I'm just going to copy one of those backslashes and put it here. Now, that's happy. Because I've put the backslash, it's reading that and just going, oh, the next line is part of this command. So I'm going to do the same here as well. Backslash there, and it's saying, oh, the next line is still part of this command. Okay, I'll do the same here. There we go. So that is all one long command. It's reading along here, it's getting to here, and then it's going, uh-oh, this, okay, I'll just continue here. It's going down here, it's getting to here, and then it's just continuing. So it's just a nicer way, because now we've got each entry stored on its own line, and it just makes it easier to read and edit, to be honest. You don't have to do that, though. Let's keep going. Data setup is done. Let's do Control KW and shut down all those windows. Let's get load function. In here, I'm going to run the setup. Function, data setup. And I'm going to make a score, which I can use to store stuff in. Objectives, add, I'm just going to call it var, dummy, save. Okay, we'll be using that later. Boink. Okay. Right, now let's pop over here and let's set ourselves up a couple of keypads. One. One's going to go there, one's going to go there. Okay, I'm going to get the coordinates of this button, fill, tab, tab, tab. Copy that. And in here, I'm going to execute as the nearest player. So this keypad is going to be run for the nearest player. If you're using a sign or an interaction entity, you can target the player specifically, but we're just using a button, so we're going to use it at P. And we are going to run function keypad display init, and I'm going to pass it some data. I'm going to pass it an ID. This is going to be the index of the keypad we want to display. So let's look at data setup. I'm going to display this one. The index is 0 because it's the first in the list. So this one would be 0, this one would be 1. So I'm going to pass an ID, 0. And I'm also going to pass the coordinates. We'll say X, Y, Z. Okay, the coordinates I'm passing, I'm going to use that for the distance check, and I'm also going to use it to play the sound. So those coordinates are of the button, so if I get too far away from the button, I can't use the keypad, and the sounds will be played at the button. Okay. In fact, what we'll do is we'll grab that, put it on there, and we'll change you to ID 1. Let's just check the coordinates of this button. Fill, tab, 8, 57, 8, okay. Let's just change that then. 8, there we go. Done. Right, I suppose we've actually better make some of the functions. Data setup. Go away. Right, keyboard display in it. The first thing I want to do is clear some temporary data. Data, remove from storage, ID temp, keypad, and now we're going to put all the information we want into that temporary storage. So data, modify storage, ID temp, keypad dot ID, and we will set from storage ID data keypads. I'm just going to say 0 for now, dot ID. So that is going to get the data from 0, index 0. Well, we don't want index 0. We want to use the ID that we just passed, and we actually passed that as ID, so that's no problem. We can just grab that ID, and it's using data, so we will now have to say you are using data that was passed to you. Save that. Okay, let's test it. We'll do a reload. If I do press this button, it is just running the reload command. So what ID do we pass here? ID 0. Let's press this. Data get from storage, ID temp. Oops, I think I have game rule, send command feedback. That's true. Let's run that command again. ID front door. Okay, let's press this one. And what do we have now? ID back door. Okay, so yeah, we passed a different index each time and we got a different result. That's fine. Let's keep going. Let's copy this. And I'm going to copy it because we're going to want to get the use range. I want to get the X, the Y, the Z. I want to get the code, and I want to get the command on success. Okay, so let's get the use range. Use range, and that is stored in the data. Use range. The X, Y, and Z we passed ourselves, so we're going to change that to set value X, and you will now be pos X. In fact, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll copy that one. Copy, and we'll use it to replace U and U, because we'll set U to Y, and we'll set U to Z, U to Y, U to Z. Okay, so those are the coordinates that we passed in the command block. These ones, X, Y, Z. Now, what did we want here? Code, I think. Code, probably. Code, and we'll get that from the data storage. Code, and command on success. Command on success. We'll copy that. We'll pop it in there. And then we'll run off to the next function. Display. Let's save that and let's do a little check. Don't want U conditional. Okay, let's press U. Let's do a reload right there. Let's press U. Test the data. So we have keypad position, Y 57, 8 and 10 on the Z and X. Yep, the code 8473, front door. Okay, and the command on success was success. Now if we run this one, check again, we now have the back door. The command on success is great success, and the code is different. Okay, that's working. Let's go back. Let's go to the keypad display. And in here, I'm going to do a similar thing to what I did here. I'm going to split the code onto multiple lines to make it easier to read. Keypad display. First thing, I'm going to do a tell raw at S. Open and close. It will have some text in it. It's going to have two lots of text. Actually, I want different colors. So yeah, I will have 2 bits. I want different colors. First one, text and a color. Second one, text and a color. Text, keypad ID, color, gray, text, and this text actually will use the ID that we just saved. So keypad display init ID is now set to the name we got from the data, and it's stored in keypad. And so this function we will run with storage ID temp keypad, and that will give us access to all this information we just saved. And we saved it as ID. And I'll give it a color, and we'll make that color green. Save that. Okay, but at the moment it's just actually going to print that as ID. We need to say you are using data. You are using data. Put a $sign at the beginning. Let's pop back. Let's do a reload. Let's press one of these buttons. You say front door. You say back door. Cool. Okay. Now we're going to have display the different lines. So the first line 1, 2, 3. Second line 4, 5, 6. Third line 7, 8, 9. Get the idea. So it'll be a tell raw at S. Open up, we'll have 3 entries. We'll have 1, 2, and 3. And now I'm going to do that thing where I split it up again. Now my keyboard doesn't actually have a backslash, so I have to do Alt 92. There we go. So let's go here, space, enter, space, enter, space, enter, space, enter. So now I've got my 3 entries. Let's do 1. Okay, so it's going to have some text. It's going to have a color. It's going to be bold, true, and it's going to have a click event. Okay, let's fill some of that in. Text 1. Actually, I'll put space, 2 spaces after the 1. Color gold, bold, true, click event. Okay, so the click event, what action would you like to take? I would like to run a command, please. Okay, what is the value of that command? I would like you to run a function. The function I'd like you to run will be keypad entry and then your appropriate number. So I'm going to type here function keypad just to grab that, and we also want to run it with the information, so with storage temp keypad, and I'm just going to copy that X, and here make sure we put our little slash, because that's what the player would do if they were typing it in chat, and we'll do that, but we'll change this 0 to a 1. It's not happy because we haven't made that function yet, but it's fine. Okay, that's all right. Now I'm going to copy that entry, copy, paste it in there, and paste it in there. You are going to be a 2, and you are going to be space 3, and you will call function 3, and you will call function 2, and we'll press save, and we'll go back, and we'll do a reload, and we'll press one of the buttons, and we've got 1, 2, 3. Cool. If I click on one of these, unknown function entry 1, that's good enough. We've got the 1, so this should say unknown function entry 2. Yeah, unknown function entry 3. Yeah, cool. Now I'm going to copy all of that. Copy. That's line 1 done. Line 2, line 3, line 4. And we're just going to change these. So 4, 5, 6, 63. No, and we change which ones it's calling. 4, 5, 6. This one will be 7, 8, 9, and you'll obviously be calling 7, 8, 9, and the last one will have a 0. You'll call 0. So that one will be happy. We do have that. We'll have a minus sign. You can use the minus sign if you want. You might not want to. I'm not going to. I'm just putting it in. Minus sign. And this one would be a big capital R for reset. And you will call the reset function. Save that. Okay, these have just got squiggly lines on because we haven't made those functions yet. Let's go back, do a reload, do a check. We've got a keypad. Cool. Back we go. Let's close keypad display down. Close keypad display init down as well. We don't need that. Okay, let's do 0. We're going to do a distance check. Function. Player distance check. With storage. ID temp. Keypad. Okay, that is going to run off to that function, and it's going to say, is the player within the use range of the coordinates? So use range is going to get from here. So if we're clicking on the front door, it's going to say, is the player within 3 blocks of the coordinates? Okay, that's what we're going to be doing. And if we are, it's going to return a 1, and that's basically, yes, you're in range, you can use it. And if we're not, it will return not a 1, and it'll say you're not close enough. So let's do that. Execute. If score, we'll call it fake player called function success, and we'll use that var scoreboard. Matches 1. No, we want unless. Unless it matches 1. So if it doesn't equal 1, we failed. We're not close enough. We will run. We will return, exit the function. But before we exit the function, we'll give the player a bit of feedback. We will say some text in our tell raw. I can't reach that keypad. Color red. Save. Okay, we could probably test that. Oh no, we can't because we haven't made the distance check. Okay, let's finish this off. So if they are within range, then we will data modify storage ID temp keypad.code input append. We're going to add a value because let's say we pressed 1 first. We don't want to replace the 1. We want to add to the 1. So we're going to append the value of 0. So if we did click on 1 first, we would have 1 in there, and then we would append a 0. So now we would have 1, 0. And then we better go off and check the code. Function. Check code. There you are. I see you hiding there. Check code with storage ID temp keypad. Okay, let's do this distance check. Let's get that working. So I think first thing we'll do is we'll reset the scoreboard, players, reset, and we called them function success, and we'll reset their variable. Okay, so it's nothing, so I've not passed the test yet. And then we want to execute positioned. We'll turn this into a macro in a minute. At 1, 2, 3, if entity at S is within the distance of, let's say, less than 3, then we will return run scoreboard players set function success, set their variable to 1. Okay, so this will now set it to 1, and we will continue down here. If I am within 3 blocks of 1, 2, 3, well, that's not obviously what we want. We want to use the information we saved, and we saved that in, let's have a look, in the init, we saved it in pos X, pos Y, pos Z, and we saved the used range in use range. Okay, so that's what we're going to use. Let's get rid of those. pos X, pos Y, pos Z, and we want the use range. And since it's using data that's been passed to it, we need to put the $sign on the front of the command. We'll save that. Okay, so the only thing we should be able to test now is if we're too far away. Other than that, nothing should happen. Do a reload. It's set to 3 blocks, isn't it? So let's activate it. If I click on it, now it's just saying I can't find those functions. That's fine, because we haven't made those yet. If I move 3 blocks away or more, then we try and click on it. Oh, so it seems like our test is passing either way. Oh, we only added it to 0, so it should be on 0. Let's check on 0. There we go. I can't reach that keypad. We only did 0, so that worked there. Let's move close again and check 0. Fine, that's all right. We'll remove these all extra commands that they're displaying here. They're going annoying. We'll remove them later. Okay, so that worked. Now, basically, all of our other commands are going to be pretty much identical to this, but we're going to change just that one number. So I am going to control, copy. So we've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, let's rename you to 1. Let's rename you to 2. Let's rename you to 3. Let's rename you to 4. As we now do counting with Infernal, let's rename you to 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, who are we on? Let's go 0 is going to send 0. 1, you're going to send a 1. 2 is going to send a 2. 3 is going to send a 3. 4 is going to send a 4. Funnily enough, I think you pretty much guess what all these are going to be doing. 6 is going to send a 6. I think we could make this nicer, because there's a lot of commands in. They're all doing the same thing, just changing this one number. I bet we could make this nicer. We're not going to. We're keeping it simple. Okay, let's save all of them, and let's do a Control-KW to shut them all down. So they should all be working now. Let's do the reset. So, reset. Players put a load of numbers in. Oh, I don't know what I've put in. They press reset to clear what they've currently entered. So, I think we'll do the distance check again. So we'll just copy that from any one of these. Distance check. Let's copy the distance check and put that in there. Then after the distance check, let's play a sound. Play sound. I'm going to play a note block. I'm going to play bit. I'm going to play it on the master channel for that player. At those coordinates, we're going to do some changing. Full volume, normal pitch, minimum volume of 0. Okay, we need to change this because we don't want it playing at those coordinates. We want it playing where the button is. So let's go to player distance check, and we'll copy this just to save us typing it, this pos X, pos Y, pos Z thing. And we'll put that in here as the position. Boink. Now you are using data, so we need to put a $sign in the front of the command. Okay, now let's clear the code that they entered. Data, remove, storage, temp. And we've put it into keypad.code input. We will just double check that that's where it is, code input. Data modify storage, keypad code input, append a value. Yep. Okay, and then we'll just tell them that they've reset. Tell raw at S. Have some text, and we'll have a color. Text, code, entry, reset, color, green, save. Okay, let's go back. Let's do a reload. Let's open up the keyboard. Let's type in a number. Let's type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it doing anything? Yeah. let's check our temporary data. Okay, we got our code input there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we put in. So if I then pressed a 6, 7, and an 8, and I do data check again, yep, our code input's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if I press the R, we got the sound code entry reset. Let's check our data. Doesn't seem to have reset the code. Did we make a little mistake there on that? Yep, quite clearly we did. We put codc. Let's change that to code input as it should be. Do a reload again. The number pad's still there, so we can still press the R on it. Code entry reset. Let's check our data. And code input has gone. Okay, so we can start putting a new code in. Wonderful. Okay, let's get rid of reset. Next, well, we want to check the code, if the code is correct. So as we press each button, we're going off to check code. That's all right. Let's go to check code then. So I think we'll play a sound again. I think I'm going to grab that play sound from the reset, just so I don't have to type it all up. Let's copy that. Let's go to check code. I'm going to play a sound. I'm going to play two sounds because I'm going to play one for the button entry, and I'm going to play one if they're successful. This one is going to be an amethyst block dot break, and we'll have that at full volume. This one is going to be note block bit master. Yeah, we'll keep that the same, but we'll make it much quieter. This is going to be when they're typing the numbers, and we'll change its pitch right up as well. Let's save that. Now I want to check the code, so I'm going to make a copy of the code first. Data modify storage temp keypad, and we'll call it code test. Set from storage id temp keypad dot code. So this is the original code. We're going to make a copy so we can play with the copy, and it doesn't matter, we still got the original available to us. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and copy the code they've entered onto code test. If it's successful, it means the code was different. If it's not successful, it's basically saying, hey, code test already contains that, I'm not going to do it, which means they were the same. So we're sort of the wrong way around there. If this copying command is successful, then the code was wrong. So we keep that in mind. So we will execute store success as the score. We'll have a fake player called code wrong. We'll save it to the var. We will run data modify storage id temp keypad dot code test, and we will set that from storage temp keypad dot code input. Save. I'm just going to check that we did call it code input. Let's look at the numbers. 7 code input. Yeah, okay. So we're going to copy code input over code test. If they are different, the command will be successful. So we can check that. So execute if score code wrong var matches 1. The code was successful. That means the codes were different. Run return fail. We're not going to do anything. On the other hand, if we get past this, the codes must have been the same. So we will clear the code that's currently stored in there. Data remove from storage id data temp keypad dot code input, and we're going to play that sound. What else? I suppose we want to run the command on success, and that is stored in keypad command on success. So it's stored in command on success. I'll copy that, which means we just have to do this next line is using data passed to it. Bang. The data we're passing to it will be stored in here. and it will be command on success. So basically, it's going to get this command here, and it's just going to effectively paste that command in there. So it's going to run that command. I think we're done. Let's check it. Okay, let's do a reload. So you are the front door. Okay, all right, let's get rid of this running function bit. We don't want that. Okay, let's turn that off. That's the game rule. Game rule. Send command feedback. False. Clear chat. Run the code. There we go. So now we've got a keypad. Oh dear. What was the code? 8473. Oh, I don't know how many numbers I put in. Let's do a reset. Reset. 8473. Success. Cool. What does minus do? Nothing, because we didn't link it to anything. You can if you want to. You could put something else in there. So that worked, but let's just switch to this one. And now we have a keypad for the back door. And if we use 8473, we're not going to get a result, because this code is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. Okay, let's run away a bit. Too far away now. What does it say? Can't reach the keypad. Can't reach the keypad. That's just to stop them doing this. Press a button and then just running off around the map and still having access to the keypad, because well, it just seems a bit silly. It's a bit annoying that you can't actually remove stuff from chat, because it'd be pretty cool if you could say, oh, you're more than 3 blocks away, I'm going to take those lines away from chat. That would be pretty cool. I don't think you can. I suppose I could spam chat with about 1,000 blank lines and it would push it off out of the range where they can't reach it, but I don't like the idea of that. Okay, so we're done. We have 2 running. Now there is a problem. I can think of a problem with this. And that is... Oh, hello, Minion. Right. We are storing all our data. Let's look at init. We are storing all our data into this keypad.id, keypad.use, keypad.position. So I come along and I start using the keypad and I start putting in the command or the code 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Minion comes along and starts using a different keypad, and all the data has been overwritten. So if I press 5 now, I can't reach that keypad because it's checking for this keypad. So you can have one keypad open at a time. If you're in single player, that's obviously no problem. Or if you don't have many keypads, it's not a problem. But we could have the same one. If I press this and I start typing in 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Minion comes along and presses it as well, and then I type in 5, well, you see we've got problems. But we've kept it simple for now. I think at some point we might revisit this. What we might have to do is save all this data for each player. So when the player clicks on it, they use their own personal data. So like episode 57, we played around with player personal storage data. We might have to do that for this keypad. That way, when I activate it, I will be looking at my temporary data, and Minion will be looking at Minion's temporary data, and we won't have this problem of erasing this. So we might come back and visit this at some point. If I come up with any other ideas or anything, we'll probably revisit this thing. Anyway, we've probably been long enough, haven't we? Thank you for helping, Minion. You didn't get hurt, stabbed, beaten or anything today. Isn't that nice for you? Okay, take care, guys. I'll see you soon. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.